Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys could sign $150 million QB as potential Dak replacement, analyst. The Dallas Cowboys could have a number of potential options at quarterback if Dak Prescott leaves. The three-time Pro Bowl quarterback is on the verge of entering the final year of his contract during the 2024 season. While the Cowboys remain adamant that they want to re-sign Prescott as the team's franchise quarterback for the long term, the potential of him leaving in free agency next offseason is a possibility. One of the potential replacements that KD Drummond of Cowboys Wire proposes is none other than New Orleans Saints quarterback Derek Carr. While Carr remains under contract through the 2026 season, he can be released during the 2025 offseason, a post-June 1 cut. In that scenario, New Orleans would absorb a dead cap hit of $21.5 million while saving $30 million in the process. As Drummond mentions, Carr could represent a bridge option for the Cowboys as a short-term solution until they find their next franchise quarterback. The Saints weren't in on the top QBs of the 2024 draft, but they did select one of the biggest wild cards in Spencer Rattler, writes Drummond. The former Oklahoma quarterback transferred to South Carolina and didn't excel, but there weren't many options at his disposal. Once the top-rated prospect, if he balls out in his opportunities in New Orleans, Derek Carr will immediately become available in 2025. The 33-year-old Carr has been a starting quarterback since his rookie season in 2014. And while Carr has been a productive quarterback over the duration of his career, he's a four-time Pro Bowler who has thrown for at least 21 touchdowns in 9 of his seasons in the league. He's had very little success when it comes to consistently winning games. In fact, Carr is 72-87 as a starter and has led his teams to just 2 playoff appearances in his career. To top it all off, he doesn't have a single playoff win on his resume. In his first season as a member of the Saints, Carr demonstrated more of the same of what he's shown during his career. He had a solid season with 25 touchdowns against just 8 interceptions for a 97.7 passer rating, the third highest mark of his career. However, he led the Saints to a 9-8 record and just short of a playoff appearance. If the Cowboys do indeed lose Prescott to free agency during the 2025 offseason, Carr actually wouldn't be a bad short-term option. There will be potentially better and younger options available, such as the Miami Dolphins' Tua Tagovailoa. However, in the event where the Dolphins do re-sign Tagovailoa to a new deal, Carr could end up emerging as Dallas' best option at quarterback for the 2025 season. Over the course of his 10-year career, Carr holds passing totals of 242 touchdowns against 107 interceptions for 39,100 passing yards and a 92.3 passer rating. Carr actually has the 3rd most passing yards and 6th most passing touchdowns of any quarterback since the 2014 season. The idea of the Cowboys acquiring and starting Carr may not seem too exciting, but a veteran quarterback with his talent and experience could do some damage with a talented supporting cast featuring CeeDee Lamb. Cowboys' Dak Prescott extension just got even harder. The Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott have been talked about constantly throughout the offseason, especially after they experienced an embarrassing wild card round loss. The Cowboys have the contract extensions of Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons hanging over the head of the franchise. Even though Prescott is heading into the final year of his current deal, both sides reportedly had a mutual understanding of his current deal and wouldn't be negotiating a new contract, but that may need to change. The latest news in the NFL also made things harder on a potential extension. ESPN's Adam Schefter reported on May 13 that Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions agreed to terms on a 4-year, $212 million extension with $170 million guaranteed. Goff is now making $53 million per year, which is the 2nd highest paid QB in the league, only trailing Cincinnati's Joe Burrow. With Goff now receiving this massive extension, the price for Prescott only goes up. In 2023, Goff was second in the NFL in passing yards, 4,575, fourth in passing touchdowns, 30, and 11th in QBR, 60.3. Meanwhile, Prescott ranked third in passing yards, 4,516, second in QBR, 72.7, and first in passing touchdowns, 36, last season. Another thing that Prescott will bring to the negotiating table is his WL record. The three-time Pro Bowler is 73-41 in his career, as for Goff, who is 66-50-1 as a starter. Although Prescott hasn't been able to get the Cowboys over the hump in the postseason, he's still one of the best signal callers in the league and will like to be paid like one. Goff's extension has only increased the price tag on Prescott's next deal. Cowboys could trade for $180 million franchise QB to replace Dak, analyst. The price continues to get higher for Dak Prescott's next contract, creating a potential decision for the Dallas Cowboys. Prescott is heading into the final season of a 4-year, $160 million contract. Jared Goff agreed to a new 4-year deal worth up to $212 million on May 13, 2024 in order to remain with the Detroit Lions, per ESPN's Adam Schefter. The price is only rising for veteran quarterback contract extensions. Despite all the posturing, chances are the Cowboys will eventually sign Prescott to a new deal. Yet, Dallas would be wise to have alternative options just in case a new contract is not agreed upon. USA Today's KD Drummond put together a potential list for Prescott replacement options heading into 2025. One team that has plenty of quarterbacks is the Atlanta Falcons. Four-time Pro Bowl quarterback Kirk Cousins is a name to watch next offseason if the Cowboys are suddenly in the market for a new quarterback. There's still time to make a deal, but it would be foolish to think the front office is not building contingency plans if he should walk in free agency following the season, Drummond wrote in a May 8, 2024 story titled, 8 Potential Prescott Replacements and the Penix Perpendicularity. Atlanta spent the number 8 pick on Washington QB Michael Penix, Jr., despite guaranteeing Kirk Cousins $100 million as the biggest free agency splash in the league. While they'll coexist in 2024, Cousins all of a sudden is a trade candidate next year, before he's even taken a snap in the Peach State. That adds the veteran to a lengthening list of quarterbacks who could end up wearing the star next season. Drummond categorized each quarterback possibility as either a bridge or franchise option. Cousins has the franchise category given the veteran can be more than a one-year rental. Even if an unlikely breakup happens, all signs point to the Cowboys and Prescott playing out the 2024 season together. The challenge is Prescott has a no-trade clause, so a mid-season deal would only happen if the star signed off on a move. To complicate matters even more, Prescott also has a no-franchise tag clause. This means Prescott can become a free agent next offseason, and Dallas is in danger of losing the quarterback for nothing. The Falcons may prefer to get Michael Penix Jr. onto the field sooner rather than later. Heading into the 2025 season, Cousins will have 3 seasons remaining on a 4-year, $180 million contract. Cousins is slated to have a $40 million cap hit in 2025. As an added bonus, Cousins' deal has a potential out in 2027, which would essentially mean the Cowboys would be acquiring the former Pro Bowler on a 2-year deal. Now, if the Cowboys are frustrated with Prescott's lack of postseason success, Cousins may not be the ideal replacement. The quarterback has just one career postseason win and an 1-4 overall record in the playoffs. Yet, Cousins could be joining a Cowboys roster that has the potential to be stronger than most of the teams the quarterback has been on during his career. Cousins threw for 2,331 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions, while completing 69.5% of his passes in 8 appearances in 2023 prior to sustaining a season-ending ACL injury. The veteran's appeal could be that Atlanta may be willing to deal Cousins for a reasonable return via trade. Cousins' contract is huge, they guaranteed $100 million, but that doesn't make him untradeable, Drummond added. In fact, the team could carve out around $2.5 million in space in 2025 were they to deal him next offseason, and then be free of all future obligations. He'd probably be relatively cheap, compensation-wise, and the Cowboys wouldn't be committing to anything beyond the 2025 season, as that's the only remaining guaranteed base salary, and it's a pretty affordable $27.5 million with no roster bonus. The Cowboys will have other quarterback options if things get messy with Prescott. Like Cousins, all of these different paths come with their own flaws, just as Prescott possesses. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Kirk Cousins? Leave your opinion in the comments.